If there's one part of us that is more common than most, I'd guess it was the inner critic. It's sometimes it can be such an everyday voice in our heads. Just thinking about um, to my own experience, the inner critic in me would keep me small, would stop me from saying things that I knew were true, um, put my ideas aside as rubbish. It wouldn't let me push myself, it would just keep me stuck in the same place. And this feeling of stuckness is something that's shared amongst a lot of people. Maybe you're feeling the same. My name is Jamin, and I am an internal family systems guide. And I started a small community online, and we work through helping to heal the parts of us that keep us stuck, like the inner critic. And the inner critic is, I suppose, a part of us that is more widely talked about. But there are other parts to us, there's loads of different parts to us, and the model that I've found the most useful for helping any kind of growth or any kind of personal development is internal family systems. And that tells us that we are all made up of different smaller personalities. We are not just the one personality. And the inner critic is probably the perfect gateway into understanding this system, understanding this way of thinking. Because I'm just thinking about myself, like sometimes you'd hear the inner critic, and my response would be to tell it to shut up, or to ask it to stop. And how we work through our parts, how we get to heal them, is by getting to know them. So the inner critic is one that we would naturally shut down, but it's doing it's doing an amazingly good job for us. It's just that we can't see it yet. It would have started early on, and I'm just going to think about my own experience and maybe some of my clients. I just want to let you know, actually, if you want to experience any of this work, if you want to get to know your own inner critic, I've got a free 30-minute session, 30-minute experience that you can book down in the description. And this model is so, like internal family systems, is so efficient and powerful. Within 30 minutes, we can find out something about your inner critic, what it's trying to do for you. And that's what the inner critic is there for. It's doing a job for you. So it would have started when you were younger. I'm just thinking about, yeah, so from my experience, my inner critic stops me from saying things or for trying out new ideas because it fears that I am going to be ridiculed. That was my experience growing up, that if I had an idea that was wrong or perceived as wrong, or I tried to kind of grow outside my box, it was shut down and ridiculed. And this inner critic, for me, is really worried about those feelings of shame and rejection coming back again. So when I try now to come up with a new idea or come up with a way to improve my life in some way, it jumps in and it tells me all the reasons that I'm stupid, that I'm not educated enough, that I don't have the time or the willpower, or that I'll let people down. And it's still alive today, but I've built a relationship with it where I can see where it's coming from, and I can say that I understand the job it's doing, that it's trying to keep me from rejection. It's trying to keep me away from feeling those horrible feelings. And I can send love towards it, and we can work together. And now I understand what my inner critic is doing. I can see that it wants me to feel connected with people. That's the job it's trying to do. I'm just working through that now. It's trying to keep me connected. It fears rejection. So I can bring it along as a new role, give it a new job. The job to show me opportunities where I can connect with others. So what I just demonstrated is working through a part, working with a part. And that's how we do IFS work. I'll actually let's just take a pause actually. Maybe I'll guide you through a little bit of that work. So notice this inner critic. Notice where it is in your body. If you feel comfortable, just take a moment to close your eyes and see where you notice this inner critic. More than likely, it will be a voice, but you might get a visualization of what this critic looks like. Maybe you'll get a sensation in your body. For me, it's in my chest. I feel like a tightness that stops me from talking, maybe up and around my throat. And notice the things it's throwing at you. You're stupid. You're fat. You're ugly. You're not going to amount to anything. Why even try? Who do you think you are? You'll never get that job. You'll never build that company. You'll never be able to create art like them. You'll never be able to do what they do to the extent that they do it. You don't have the willpower. You don't have the discipline. You don't have the ability. And just notice those words. Notice that feeling, or notice that visual that you get of that part. And let it know that you understand what it's doing. And ask it to show you when was maybe the first time, or when was a notable time in your past that it started to do this job. When was a notable time where you felt this feeling of rejection and you knew that you had to keep yourself small in that moment? And let it know that you understand that. Just invite it to show you that experience. And notice what it was protecting you from. And if it feels comfortable, ask this part to let you know what it would like to do instead. Does it like to do this job? How does it feel to do this job? It must be tiring. Inner critics are often very tired, very stressed. Ask it how it shows up in your body. Sometimes we can get physical ailments, pains, headaches, stomach problems, and these parts can let us know that they're here, that that's how they communicate with us. So ask it, how's it communicating with you? And for now, just let this inner critic know that you're listening to it and that you want to get to know it a little better. And if it feels like you can fulfill this, let that critic know that you're going to be checking in with it a bit more often. that is how we get to know our parts bit by bit. For me, it's something that needs to be experienced and to be understood um, intellectually. So, like I said, please take me up on my offer. 30 minutes, you can book in the link below to get to know your inner critic or any other part that seems to need your attention. We have a really beautiful small community of people doing this work together in groups, one-on-one. We've got a beautiful community platform. It's called the Self-Led Year. If you want to know any more information about that, then there's a page link in the description. So I hope you can go gently with yourself, that you can notice when your inner critic comes back up, see how it's trying to protect you, and let me know in the comments how your inner critic gets your attention. Let me know what it tries to say to you if you feel comfortable, and maybe even how this little exercise, if you did it with me, how that's helped. Cool. Okay. Have a good day.